What if Shohei Ohtani, the two-way marvel redefining baseball today, had stepped into the diamond during the 1990s? An era of swagger, power, and legends carved in pine tar and sweat. The 90s were ruled by giants: Griffey's effortless swing, Bonds' power, Maddux's precision, Pedro's fire, and McGwire and Sosa's moonshots shaking the sport. But what if, amid that storm of dominance, there emerged a player from Japan? A quiet force with a 100-meter fastball and a bat that could shatter scoreboards. Shohei Ohtani in the 1990s wouldn't just be a player. He'd be a revelation. The story begins in 1993. The baseball world is changing. Expansion teams are arriving, TV ratings are booming, and the game feels larger than life. The Toronto Blue Jays have just repeated as World Series champions, and a young kid named Derek Jeter is about to take his first steps into Yankee pinstripes. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, word spreads. A phenom from Japan, 18 years old, 6'4", smooth as silk, has declared for MLB, skipping Nippon professional baseball entirely. Scouts are divided. Some say he's a freak of nature, others doubt that a two-way player can survive in the majors. But one team, the Seattle Mariners, sees something no one else does. They sign Ohtani, pairing him with the already iconic Ken Griffey Jr. Suddenly, the Pacific Northwest becomes baseball's epicenter. Ohtani steps onto the mound in 1994, just before the season that never finished, the one lost to the strike. But in our timeline, that season continues, uninterrupted. Shohei debuts against the Texas Rangers in April. The first pitch he throws? 99 on the black. The crowd gasps. The next inning, he steps into the batter's box and drives a fastball deep into the right field seats. A pitcher hitting home runs, a slugger throwing fire. The league doesn't know what to make of him. By midseason, he's the story of the year. A cultural phenomenon, a bridge between continents, a challenge to everything baseball thought it knew. The Mariners, powered by Ohtani, Griffey, Edgar Martinez, and Randy Johnson, tear through the AL West. The team becomes unstoppable, the best rotation and lineup fused together by one man's brilliance. His dual-threat playstyle shocks even the old-school purists. Broadcasters can't stop talking. Sports Illustrated calls him the human cheat code. Children in America and Japan wear his number 17 jersey. MLB ratings skyrocket. The All-Star Game becomes a global event. Shohei Ohtani is no longer just a player. He's an ambassador of the sport, rewriting how baseball is played and who gets to define greatness. But greatness never comes easy. In late '95, the Mariners are locked in a fierce ALCS battle against the Cleveland Indians, a young powerhouse led by Manny Ramirez and Jim Thome. Game 5, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. The Mariners are down by 1. Ohtani, having pitched 7 innings earlier, steps up to bat again, exhausted, drenched in sweat but unflinching. The crowd at the Kingdom rises as he crushes a hanging slider into the upper deck. Walk-off. Seattle advances to its first-ever World Series. The city erupts. Fireworks. Tears. A legend is born. In this reality, Ohtani leads Seattle to its first championship, defeating the Atlanta Braves in a 7-game classic that becomes the most-watched baseball series of the decade. The image of Griffey and Ohtani embracing on the field becomes iconic. 2 superstars from opposite sides of the world, united by the game they love. And in that moment, baseball changes forever. As the years roll on, Ohtani's influence grows. Kids begin training differently. High school players start refusing to pick one position. Colleges experiment with dual-role athletes. The very foundation of player development transforms. In the 90s, a time before analytics ruled, Ohtani is the embodiment of instinct and artistry. A pure ball player who defies categorization. His pitching duels against Greg Maddux become chess matches. His home run races with Bonds and McGwire become headline battles. But unlike the steroid-fueled controversies surrounding his peers, Ohtani's power feels clean, natural, almost poetic. He becomes the moral center of the sport, the face of balance in a chaotic age. When the late 90s home run chase dominates headlines, Ohtani quietly posts a 40-homer, 20-win season, something no one thought possible. His stat lines read like fiction. ERA under 3.00, OPS over 1,000. Endorsements from both East and West. Every country wants to claim him, but Ohtani remains humble, often saying through a translator, "Baseball is just the language I speak best." By the early 2000s, he's an international icon, appearing in Nike commercials with Griffey, Jordan, and Tiger Woods. His influence stretches beyond baseball. ESPN calls him the future that arrived too early. The Mariners, once overlooked, are now a dynasty. 3 World Series rings, 4 MVPs, 2 Cy Young Awards. Fans travel from Tokyo to Seattle just to witness him in person. The game expands globally faster because of him. MLB's Japan series begins earlier. Teams scout Asia aggressively, and the world feels smaller, more connected, through one player's brilliance. Even players like Ichiro Suzuki arrive in MLB a few years sooner, inspired by Ohtani's success. The ripple effect continues. Ichiro joined Seattle in 1998, not 2001, forming the most electrifying lineup in baseball history. Ohtani pitching and hitting, Griffey in center, Ichiro in right. Every game becomes must-watch TV. The Mariners become baseball's version of the 90s Bulls. But time catches everyone. In the mid-2000s, Ohtani suffers a shoulder injury that threatens to end his pitching days. Doctors advise him to pick one role, hit or pitch, but he refuses. "Both are who I am," he says in a press conference. The moment defines his career. He adjusts his mechanics, evolves his style. No longer relying solely on velocity, he begins mastering movement, deception, and timing. As a hitter, he adapts too. Less power, more precision. He ages like fine wine, reinventing himself each season. By 2007, he's still batting .290 with 30 homers and winning 15 games a year. Every generation gets one athlete who breaks all rules. Jordan, Gretzky, Federer. In this reality, Shohei Ohtani is that for baseball. And imagine how the Hall of Fame debate changes. In our world, Cooperstown struggles to define value across eras. But in this alternate history, Ohtani forces the sport to evolve decades earlier. WAR, OPS+, advanced metrics, all created to quantify what he does nightly. The unicorn archetype becomes real long before analytics were fashionable. The idea of most valuable shifts from raw numbers to overall impact. Without Ohtani, maybe that evolution doesn't happen until the 2010s. With him, baseball matures faster, more global, more analytical, more open-minded. Off the field, Ohtani becomes a cultural bridge. Japanese baseball fans flood American ballparks. U.S. media finally respects the NPB as equal, not lesser. There's even a rise in two-way minor league players who model themselves after him. Documentaries call him the global ball player. Kids across continents mimic his smooth leg kick and his effortless pitching delivery. He becomes the face of MLB The Show before video games even had cover stars. In 2001, when baseball needed healing after tragedy, it's Ohtani, who delivers a moment the nation remembers, a game-winning homer in the World Series, followed by a message of hope in broken English. "We play for all." That clip runs on every highlight reel for decades. By the time he retires in 2010, Ohtani's numbers are surreal. Over 500 home runs, nearly 250 pitching wins, a career ERA under 3.10, a lifetime batting average above .290, 7 MVPs, 3 Cy Youngs, countless memories. When he walks away, the league feels smaller. His farewell at Safeco Field draws millions of viewers. Griffey, Ichiro, and legends from both sides of the Pacific stand beside him. His final at-bat, a home run to right center, becomes myth. The crowd chants his name for 10 minutes straight. Shohei, emotional as ever, simply bows to both dugouts. "Thank you for letting me be both," he says. His legacy transcends numbers. Analysts call him the man who made imagination possible. Without Ohtani, The league might have never embraced versatility, never bridged cultures so naturally. His story sparks movies, documentaries, and endless debates. Could anyone else ever do what he did? Maybe not. But every generation will try because of him. Even in our real timeline, Shohei Ohtani feels like a man out of time, as if he belongs in every era, not just one. But in this alternate universe, the 1990s didn't just get a player, they got a revolution. Imagine the posters. Griffey smiling beside Ohtani, Bonds watching from the dugout, shaking his head in disbelief, Pedro staring in awe after striking him out. The 90s were already electric, but with Shohei Ohtani, they become transcendent. A golden age made brighter by one man who refused to choose. And as the lights fade, as the crowd roars for the final time, one truth stands clear. No matter the decade, Shohei Ohtani would have found a way to rewrite baseball's soul. Because legends, they don't belong to time. They define it.